Hey fam! Welcome back to my channel. As always, my name is Joy and I am so excited about today's video because I strongly believe that today's video is a prophetic word. Now, when it's a prophetic word, this word is not for everybody, but I do believe that this word is for those of you who have been praying and asking for God. God is finally saying, victory is here. Ah! As always, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification button. That way you can get notified when I do post new videos. So in today's message, I want to talk about victory is here. Now, at the beginning of every year, I always start off by praying to God. I start off with 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I want to hear God for that year because I want God in my life. I want God in my year. And at the beginning of this year, of course, you know, my church and we did 21 days of prayer and fasting. And God gave me a word, and that word was victory. Yeah. That word was victory. And by March, I did not feel victorious because coronavirus, you know, came and took over the whole world. And as we progressed into the year, we have racial tension. I just mean this year did not look anything like what the Lord told me. He told me, you know, 2020 was a year of victory. And, you know, in August, I started spending time with God and I started questioning him, like, why would you give me such a word? Why would you tell me that this is a year of victory and nothing I see looks victorious? Everything looks defeated. Like every single place I look, I just see defeat. And God really started speaking to me. He really started changing my perspective. And one of the things he did was he gave me a scripture. He gave me a word. And this word has really stuck in my spirit. And I just cannot shake it. I cannot move it. I just have to share it. And that's probably why I'm so freaking excited, right? So he gave me Isaiah 43. Verse 18 and 19. And I'm going to read it to you. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation. And this is what Isaiah 43, 18 and 19 says. But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Oh my gosh, when I spent time with God and he gave me that word, he started giving me this revelation that I cannot give you victory unless you're in a situation that requires victory. Oh, right? The type of God that we serve, he is an awesome God. He is a God that glory belongs to him. If I had gotten victory from everyday life, then that would not be the type of victory that the Lord had promised me. I might have thought that I actually did it on my own. And that's what I want to encourage you. That's what I want to tell somebody. I know this shutdown. I know this virus. I know the world right now looks like what God told you at the beginning of the year or what God told you last year. It looks like it's dead. It looks defeated. But I just need you to understand that victory is still yours. That God is a God of victory. And when you have come to the end of yourself, when it looks defeated, when everything else has failed, that is when God starts to work. That is when God starts to work. And as I continued asking God about victory, and as I continued to question him, he gave me a different way to actually look at it. He said, Joy, if I had given you victory without there being something that caused it to seem like it wasn't going to happen. I'm not saying God is the author of coronavirus. Anybody that knows me knows that I strongly believe that the God that we serve, that the God that I love is not the author of this disease. But he does say that he will use this disease for the good, right? So God gave me that word because he already knew what was coming. He already knew that he was going to receive the glory, right? And I started researching, and God brought me to this beautiful story of Gideon and the Israelites, right? And the story of Gideon, it's in Judges. It talks about how God told Gideon that he was going to give him victory, right, over the Midianites. And Gideon was like, all right, God, yeah, I just don't know. Like, you know, is this really you, God? Did you really speak? And I can't lie. That's me when God tells me something. I'm like, God, is this really you? Okay, give me a sign. Give me another sign. And that was Gideon, right? And I know a lot of times, a lot of Christians would tell you, you're not supposed to question God. Well, listen, God is my friend. Jesus is my homeboy. So I ask him questions, right? And Gideon was asking God for all these signs, and he got the signs, right? And Gideon was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and gather all these men, and we're going to go fight the Midianites, right? And he got 32,000 men. And the Midianites had 135,000 men, soldiers, right? But God said, no, you have too many men. You have too many. And Gideon is like, God, what you talking about? They have 135,000. I only have 32. And God told Gideon, no, you have way too many men. I need you to reduce that number. And he kept reducing that number until it got to 300. 300. And I love in Judges 7, God tells Gideon the reason why he had to reduce that number. The reason he had to reduce that number, God says, because if you went and fought them with that many men, you would have thought that you got the victory. Like you were the reason why victory happened. But God was letting Gideon know that with the 300 men that he had, he was victorious. And I love what God tells him in Judges 7, verse 7. And I'm going to read that. The Lord told Gideon, with these 300 men, I will rescue you and give you victory over the Midianites. Send all the other home. So Gideon sent the rest of the men home. God said, these 300 men, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that. You know why? Because when you get to the end of yourself, when you get to the end of you, when you cannot see a way, when you cannot get the credit, that's when God starts to work. Because he deserves all the praise. He deserves all the glory. He deserves it all. He deserves the worship. So if God gave you a word like victory, like he gave me, I just need you to know that this situation is the exact situation that God needed to make you victorious. This situation is what God is going to use to make you victorious when everything seems dead, when everything seems lost, when everything seems shut down, when all hope is lost, this is the time that God does his best work. When nobody can save you, that's when God does his best work. And I want you to know that victory is here. The other thing that God revealed to me was he told them that victory was already theirs. So when Gideon and the 300 men went to fight the Midianites, they were fighting from a place of victory. They already had victory. All they had to do was go fight. Victory was already theirs. All you have to do is move forward. Stop questioning God. How? When? What? Just move forward with what God has told you. Victory is already yours. Healing is already yours, regardless of what the report says. Your child is getting restored. I don't care if you don't see the signs. Victory is already yours. You just have to declare it. You just have to claim it. It is yours. It is yours. So I want you to forget the former things. Forget what all those other years looked like. Forget them all. God is doing a new thing right now, right here. Don't you see it? Don't miss it. I promise you, every single place I'm looking, when I speak to my friends, I see so much victory, promotions, surprise marriages. I am hearing victory all over. And nobody else can get the glory but God. Victory is here. As always, he loves you. I love you. Victory is yours. Be safe.